Okay, now for Tuesday, when you get to this part, we want you to practice writing some conversation. You all are very good at writing conversation, but conversation can be very, very tricky to understand if you're not the one that's writing it. So what I'm going to have you do is practice writing a conversation between two of the characters in your story. It can be Peter and a villain. It could be Peter and another character. But basically, we want to practice that switching back and forth. So again, you're going to watch this video if you need help with this part or if you're confused. But the main thing we want to do is we want to use quotation marks, which are the button that's right next to the Enter key on your keyboard. And then we also want to use either the Tab button, which is all the way to the left, or you can just use 5 spaces to practice switching back and forth between your characters. So I'm going to have a conversation between Captain Hook and Smee for mine. So the first thing I want to do is I want to indent like I'm starting a new paragraph. So I'm going to use the space bar. I'm going to hit the space bar 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That creates a good indent. Now I'm going to hold down the Shift button and I'm going to hit that key right next to the Enter button, and that's going to put up quotation marks. Mine are in red because I left the text there red. If I don't hold down the Shift button, it puts up 1 quotation mark, which we don't want to do. That's an apostrophe if you're making contractions. So I want to make sure that it has 2. So Shift, quotation mark, and then what's going inside of here is whatever the characters say. So I might say something like, Smee, you have seaweed for brains. Now, so that I make sure the reader knows that that's all that Hook is saying, I want to put quotation marks just like I did here at the end. So I'm going to hold down the Shift key again. And now everything that he has said is in those quotation marks. And I'm going to leave that color so you can see that. You don't have to colorize yours, but I'm going to do it that way. Now, Hook usually is pretty mad at Smee, so I'm going to make sure I include something I call a tagline. It lets the reader know who's saying this. So I'm going to say, screamed Hook. Okay, now notice this word goes all the way out to the edge. That's good. You then have an indented section here. Screamed Hook as he slashed his hook through his morning breakfast. This is a good little place to include some little description after the tagline. So you say who's saying it, and then you throw in a little description, like what is the person doing while they're saying it. You don't have to do it every time, but it definitely helps make some conversation. Okay, so now I have what Hook has said. Here it is in red, what he said. It's in quotations. It's indented. I want to have someone respond to him. So I don't think that people get confused. I'm going to start a new line. And same thing, I'm going to go in 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to have Mr. Smee respond. I'm excited, but I need to make sure that I put those quotation marks down. And I want to change it to blue just to keep it organized for you. So Smee might respond by saying something very Smee-like. Captain, I thought you would enjoy having squid ink for your morning meal. Now, this is what Smee's saying. So again, I'm going to hold down Shift and I'm going to hit the Enter key, and then everything's closed off, and I know that's what Mr. Smee's saying. But my reader doesn't know who's talking, so I need to make sure that I put that down. Smee replied while scratching his head in confusion. Right. So that's how conversation works. The hard part is each time it switches, you have to restart that, and that can be a little bit tricky. The good news is it definitely gets easier as you go back and forth. The hard part is you really kind of have to go slow. So I want you to do as much as you feel comfortable with. I only did 2 characters responding, but you can see it took me almost 5 minutes to do it. So I would say you do what's comfortable with you. Obviously, I want you to show me what you can do. But this is a new skill, so do the best that you can. Good luck.